Hi guys and girls, welcome back to my channel. I do hope you're doing well. Welcome back with another Scandals with Shan. We have a very freaking hot cup of mango and strawberry Twinings tea. I fancied a tea while we sat down because I feel there's a lot of stuff that's going to get spilt and a lot of stuff that has happened since asking the questions on this, which kind of ties in on another level. We have the iPad to hand. So as always, this month I was like, what can we do? Something that's in the news daily. And I asked you guys over on emails and Instagram stories, all things to do with rioting, immigration, our government. What are our thoughts with what is happening not only in the UK but around the world? And as I say, since I asked those questions, there has been the terrible assassination of Charlie Kirk. There has been the London March, which is happening today as I'm filming this. And we've just been seeing little segments on TikTok and Facebook and Instagram and little highlights of what has happened. I believe it has been a successful protest. I think there's been some scuffles, which I don't think he wanted, but unfortunately, some people might go there just for a ruck. And we will see what the inevitable outcome of that is. As I say, they have got the guy who assassinated Charlie Kirk. I think that came through yesterday that he's been caught. And I just thought, how, from asking this was I think last week to now, all of these things have happened that does tie into the government, the immigration, the rioting, everything like that, and just what on earth is happening. So we're going to sit here. I probably will not be able to sip any of this because if anyone knows anything with fruit teas, even just holding that, it is freaking hot. So it may be a case, it would just be sitting in the background and I can't actually drink it until it gets to a manageable level. But yes, let's get in with our monthly Scandals with Shan. So, if you know this, where are we? Right, my lovelies, we like to get comfy in this series, don't we? So, where are we? So, as I say, as always, I asked you guys over on Instagram and I asked you on email. My email is down below if you want to get involved. Drop that email a message. I'll add you to like the mailing list and then you can always get involved in whether it be mukbangs, sit-downs, scandals, questions, confessions. Because holidays very soon and you know we always ask for confessions, so we have a little fun video whenever we go away and you can literally just offload all of your wildest secrets and it stays anonymous and we have a good little laugh along the way and we have fun and we expose ourselves without actually exposing ourselves. So the first comment says, "Hi my lovely, I hope you are well. I have very mixed opinions about immigration. On one hand, I worry deeply about who is getting into the country. Some of these people arrive with no documentation, no way of proving their past, and that leaves a real concern about safety. As a parent, my first instinct is to protect my children and to make sure the environment they grow up in is safe and secure. That fear is real and shouldn't be dismissed." I'm not a parent, but I do agree. The fact that people are coming in with no documentation, like you don't know who they are, and as you're saying here, you don't know their past. And I think that is probably one of the biggest concerns in relation to what's happening, not just in England, but around the world at the moment with immigration, is if they're not coming in the proper way with the proper visas or documents, how do you know whoever they say they are, that they're actually that person? How do you know if they are capable of such heinous crimes? What checks are being done before these people are being allowed into the country? Because from what you see online, and I know online it gives a bad image, it's not always to the book online. I do think a lot of stuff is done to scaremonger and propaganda people, everything like that. But there's probably some truth to it to a degree. However, a lot of it could be fabricated. But I think if they are not coming in with documents, then that is a very big problem, because you need to know who someone is. You need to know for not only your safety, like your family's safety, the country's safety, like. And I think I sit there sometimes and I think how are the big bods not like thinking this is wrong? How are they just like, yeah, that's fine? How is there no, like, I would, common sense? How can they sit there and think allowing all of these undocumented people into the country is safe? And then you see the rise in particular crimes. Are they not correlating between the two, thinking like, well, actually, this could be the reason we're now experiencing these crimes? And I just think, I mean, you know me in government, I'm just like, no. And as I say, but then I put myself in the shoes of the people making the dangerous journeys. If my own country was at war and if my children's lives were in danger, I know I would do absolutely anything, absolutely, to get them to safety. Borders and rules wouldn't stop me if it meant keeping them alive. Completely get that. People are fleeing terrible situations, coming to a better place. However, again, this could be because it's all we see on the media. There doesn't seem to be a lot of women and children coming over. It's men. Young men that, when you look at them, they look like fighting men. They look like men that have the ability to fight. And I kept seeing everything online about sleeper cells, and I never really understood it much. And then I started to look into it, and you know me, conspiracy theories, everything like that. And when I actually learnt what a sleeper cell was, and you look at what is happening around the country, and then you hear of things that some of these people who are coming into the country are saying, it does freaking make you wonder, is this something that is a ticking situation before it goes bang? And I hope to God in my lifetime I don't see any further tragedies, but it does make you very sceptical. And when you see the people coming in, certain hand gestures that are done, certain mannerisms, and people who look into this are like, that's like an army signal, or that's like military. And you think, why is it? I would understand if the boats coming in were women, children, absolutely. But you don't see that. And for me, for example, with the war that's happening in Ukraine and Russia, well, Russia practically just taking over Ukraine, it's the men staying and fighting and the women and children leaving. So why are these men fleeing? Should they not be fighting in their country? It baffles me. And as I say, there's a lot, you could look up on conspiracy theories and everything regarding this as to what's going to happen. But on a whole, I think it's alarming that it's a lot of men coming in, not a lot of women and children. The sleeper cell, I wouldn't say phenomenon, but the sleeper cell mannerism that's being spoke about at the moment, I'm kind of like, oh, okay. It makes you wonder, and it does make you worry. But as I say, if it was a mother and a child, absolutely. And that's not saying that men can't flee their country, but when you look at how, for example, the Ukrainian men dealt with war in their country, they stood there, they stayed, and they fought. So you think, why? Like, that's a lot of people fleeing. I think now, already in 2025, we've exceeded the levels of immigration for the last year. And we're not even at the end of the year yet. We're 3/4 of the way through, pretty much. And you just think, this doesn't look good. I don't pretend to know enough about policies or politics to give a detailed answer. But what I do know is that it is a very cruel world that we live in. Families are torn apart, children are suffering, and it feels wrong to only look at the issue through the lens of fear. Some of the comments I've seen people make are harsh and even dehumanising. I hope it never happens to us, and if it did, that we're treated with compassion rather than suspicion. At the end of the day, they are human beings, and while safety matters, empathy matters too. Lots of love. Lots of love too. I completely agree with that. And as I say, I do feel empathy towards the women and children, and empathy towards men to a certain degree, but I don't know, it's very baffling to me that they're like young, healthy, I was like fighting age men, and I don't know why the government seem to be so, in one hand they're very hush-hush, and in the second they're not, because obviously you see with Epping, the riots that happened there, in Britannia Hotel and Canary Wharf. They put them in there. These people, I think the thing that gets me is, yes, other countries are in war. It's not a nice world we live in. Great Britain isn't that great at the moment. We have our own issues. The homelessness, the veterans who are on the street who have no support, the amount of rise in mental health issues and there not being enough support or people there for them to talk to, domestic violence abusers and the sufferers. The abusers are getting a slap on the wrist pretty much. The abusers are living in fear. There's nowhere for them to go. And I think all these people that are coming and fleeing and everything like that, I think we need to deal with our own issues first, because I don't remember when we had the atrocities of attacks on London and attacks on people, and the attacks that still happen on random civilians for no apparent reason, but it's something that would trigger someone. So for example, I remember, I think it was in Kent, a man was attacked. He was coming back from work, but he was in like his army uniform and he got attacked. You had Lee Rigby, who was attacked. We had the train and tube and bus attacks in London. I didn't see, I know obviously, like, I'm not personally going to see, but what countries rushed to our aid? Did they? And if they did, please inform me and let me know down below. But it seems that Britain is always the first to take on others' problems without actually delving into their own. And as I say, you've got veterans on the street. You've got people in abusive relationships that there's not the support to get out. There are mental health issues where people are not having the support. And it just baffles me that we're not looking after our own problems at the moment, and we're taking on a hell of a lot of other problems, and I don't see it ending well. I always see a gentleman online, and I don't know if he's the Polish Prime Minister or whether he's like an advisor, and he is very to the point, very blunt, and how Poland is, I actually think Poland are going in the right way. You want to go to Poland, that's absolutely fine. Prove your documents, prove you're not going to be a risk to society, get a visa and work here. And the way they are with if people want to get in their country illegally, I think that that is the way a lot of countries will be going in the future, because I thought like, oh, it was just England. I see Australia, something on the Sydney Bridge, a massive protest, and they are having problems with immigration, and the immigrants in Australia were burning the Australian flag, which was of course riling up the native Australians. And then there was a big protest again, similar to kind of a protest scale that what is happening in London today. And you know, when you just think, you turn on the news and I'm like, is this actually the world we live in? And then the assassination of Charlie Kirk, like that. Dan said, oh, Charlie Kirk's been shot. And I can't lie, I didn't know who he was. And I was like, oh, right. And then it just kept coming up, everything. So I looked into him and I was like, it's a guy, he has freedom of speech. You're not always going to please people. What I found really strange with that was there didn't seem to be a lot of presence around him. Now, I don't know if that's because he's not like the president, he's just a speaker, or he's like, I think they called him a political activist. So he didn't need protection, but I think he only had one man behind him. And I saw the footage of when the shot was taken. And about 20 minutes later, I was on TikTok again, and it was like, he's just been confirmed as passed. If someone is aiming for you, this is where, again, conspiracy theorists have gone through the roof, because is it this man, like I say, he's been caught now, was it he just didn't like his opinion and took a chance? Me personally, I think that's calculated. A lot of people would say, well, why did you not aim for the head? You have a far less chance of survival aiming for a neck than a head. People could get shot in the head. a particular angle, survive. If you're shot in the neck, you're on a very, very thin survival rate because it's your neck, your arteries. It's like if people were to stab, for example, people would say, oh, you go in the chest. Yep, people will die instantly, or can die if put in the right place in the chest. You also have chances like on your thighs because they've got big arteries there. Like, it's the blood loss. And from when I saw the photo, the minute that it hit, and you see, if you've seen it, you see the outpouring. Even if you had the best medical team, that is a very small chance of survival. And I feel sorry. It's the wife and the children and the family, and the man who's done it just didn't agree with his opinion. But you've took the life, you've took that children's dad, you've took the woman's husband, you've took the son, a brother. And for them, they're just like, I didn't agree with the opinion. But I think that Trump is actually pushing for the death penalty on that. This could have all changed since the video's gone up. But yeah, I just think, like, what is the freaking world coming to, guys? What is it honestly coming to? One of my lovelies says, watched one that was nearly me. Some the protesters, they was asked, would they have them live in their homes? And apparently they then said, I couldn't, my home is too small. So I think on this one, it is, you know, when you have the people who are fighting against the immigration, like the Epping Hotel, they're saying, look, a girl was attacked or assaulted, we don't want people here. And then you have, is it, now I don't know the political term for this, I know that they call the people who do the protests far right, so the others like far left, we'll just call them left. And I think this is reference into that they was asked, well, would you house them? And they've said, oh no, my home's too small. I really don't get the people that advocate this to the level that it's almost like they're accepting the abuse that could come with it. They're accepting that women could not be, like, it's getting unsafe for women. They're accepting that. Like, I see the videos of the protests with the whole Epping thing, and when they ask the left people, so if your daughter was attacked, and they can't answer, and I think if you can't answer, surely you can't believe that much in the cause that you're fighting for. If say it was you that got attacked, would you still want them in that country, knowing that they come in unchecked, unsupervised, and they have just gone and assaulted or attacked you? Would you still be saying that that's okay? I think it's a brewing situation at the moment, and so I don't know how it's going to go. I think if anyone is coming into the UK, they should have to be put to work, plus no benefits. As charity begins at home, they haven't paid into a system, so why should they reap? This is a fact that they get a GP going in to see them. What? They have a GP going in to see them. Do you know how hard it is for a person to get a GP appointment? And they're having GPs sent into them. They have dentists, free beds, and are fed. Plus the cleaners have to clean the rooms in twos. They're given money on a card, I believe. It's really mad that the government is not doing anything for us in the UK. Now, the cleaners cleaning rooms in twos, I think that's a safety thing. I heard something about that because there was an allegation that a hotel worker was attacked or tried to be attacked, but she fought the buggers off. So cleaning in rooms in twos, getting money put on a card. Like, we're not in school for school dinners. This baffles me because all I see now as well is, oh, taxes are going up, there's going to be a new tax. You're punishing the working person who's putting into the system for people who haven't put in the system. And I think that, again, is going to be a big catalyst for, well, I think Tommy Robinson today, he said that there's a revolution coming. And when I said to Dan I was doing this video, he's like, I think this video is going to get taken down. And I said, you know what? It will probably get demonetized because of the things that we're talking about. But I've had quite a few videos of on the channel demonetized through stuff that I've spoke about. And it does not faze me. Like, these are topics and that I want to discuss and have on the platform. So we're going to carry on. They carry on to say we have to fight to get to see a GP. And if you're lucky, get an NHS dentist. I mean, what is that? I don't think I have seen an NHS dentist, God, since I was in school. And then you come out and you have to pay. Was at a drop-in centre with my sister a while back, and we sat for half an hour. A man and a wife walked in, and all of a sudden she fell to the floor and got seen straight away. Yes. Sometimes people know how to play the system. That's all I'm going to say on that one. Had to look up Australia and was shocked as I didn't know they had a problem. It just to go to show with all the rules, they are still having migration problems too. Honestly, that's what I thought. I thought like Australia was a lockdown. But, yeah, there was a big thing. I feel like the protest, I'm sure it was Sydney Bridge, and then you had people burning the Australian flag, which I just think disgusting. Have never understood what it means being left or right wing. Oh, is that what they call it? Like left wing, right wing? I don't vote anymore, as whoever gets in just does what they want. They never keep the promises that they made to get the people to vote. Tell you what I love is seeing our flags popping up all over, the funny things that our councils say, so they stay up. And it's a wonder if other flags will put up. Loads of love. Loads of love too. And also the flag things, we have flags everywhere in our town. I've seen them on the side of the A12. I've seen them in Mum's village. It seems to be a rising thing, which, again, I think it could go the worst, different way, because people who are here could feel like people don't want us here. But I think... Did I just get that little fly? Sorry, my lovely. That was very spontaneous. I don't know if I did or not. Hey ho. I think it could push them out, but it's not for them. And also on these marches, there are people of all different ethnicities, and they say so are you calling us racist? It's not to do with race. I think people have got to a point now where they are just fed up and they've had enough. And it doesn't matter the colour of your skin. Everyone stands in them protests together because it's the country overall that people are not happy with. And I think, you know what? Good on them. And we are going to round out, my lovely. Oh God, I've been rabbiting away, haven't I? I like this one. Hi Shannon, sweetheart, Dan the man and the wonderful Mum G. This is a subject that is so important, I cannot stress it more. We are the United Kingdom of England, Ireland, Scotland and Wales, and we are in serious danger. Anyone who doesn't know that must wake up at the moment. Just look at what we are experiencing. The mass levels of illegal, fighting age, sexually aged males who we know absolutely nothing about, from cultures that in some cases view women as less than second-class citizens or equals. We have hotels full of them receiving full bed and breakfast, while we have our homeless families, including veterans, sleeping on the streets. SA and Grey has skyrocketed. Women and girls no longer feel safe to walk alone in many towns and villages, and Epping is a great example of this. Go the pink ladies. Yes, pink ladies. The governments, both Labour and Conservative, have absolutely zero intention of stopping this, as it is by design. Look at how they're making it dirty and an illegal thing to fly our own Union Jack and St George's flag. I saw something on this on TikTok, I'll tell you guys after. I'm English and proud, and I'm sick to death of being told I can't be so. I will leave it there, as I could go on for hours. I'll send you a video to watch on your own at some point. Oh, and also see my last painting, England My England, available as a tote bag. Lots of love. Lots of love too. And oh my God, that is insane. Oh my God. We will have to talk about this after. But I see as well people are doing the roundabouts. And councillors are saying, nope, you can't do this. And I see a man had a flag outside his house. It was the St George's Cross. The police told him to take it down, and he didn't want to, and they said you would be arrested if you didn't take it down. So he painted the front of his house in the end. He painted the St George's flag on the front of his house in red and white. I see a lady on TikTok, and she bought a flag. She hung it on her car pole. You remember how we did for World Cup and all that? And the police stopped her and said, you need to take your flag down. And at the same time, another car went past with an alternative flag on, which is, I want to say, quite a big thing that's happening in London at the moment between, again, another war that's happening. You'll probably know what one I'm going on about. And that car went past and the lady said, are you going to stop that? And they said no. And when the lady questioned it, they said that is for a political movement. They're expressing they want things to stop in their country. And the woman said, well, so do I. And the thing that the police I don't know if the lady got arrested or she got like a warning. They said to her that she was provoking something along the lines of, was it like a retaliation motive, or like she was provoking bad thoughts or feelings of people by driving along with a flag on her car. And she was like, no, hold on a minute. And she spoke of how she come over as a baby with her parents. I think they was from somewhere in the Caribbean. And she said, like, we was here, her mum and dad, they have a little restaurant in London somewhere. And, like, they've always worked, like, her siblings, everything like that. And we're proud to be British. Why can't we fly our flag? And this is where everyone says it's race. It's not race. Because you've got people from all ethnicities standing together saying, like, enough is enough. And I just think, I don't know what's going to happen. I really don't. I don't know where it's going to go in terms of elections. I keep hearing a lot of things that Nigel Farage is a liar as well. And you know what, guys? I actually don't. I probably couldn't disagree, because I think that all politicians are bloody liars. They will all say what people want them to say to get in. But there is I don't know if it's a political party. It's who Tommy Robinson, I think he stands with, and they're called Advance UK. And they seem to be the ones that, if anything, if they was elected, they would be like, right, boom, mass deportation. And that's not saying everyone out. It would probably be the ones that are undocumented, the ones of which maybe could cause harm. It's just a very frightening situation that we're in. And you know what? I could actually sit here for hours too and rabbit on, but I don't want to take any more time of your day. I want to say thank you for sending it in. Your painting, amazing. And yeah, thank you for involving. And if there's anything else you want to let me know, head over to my Instagram or email, or leave it down below. But that concludes our scandals with Shan. And has this cooled down? Oh, this might actually be cool enough for a little sip. Shall we see? That's good temperature now. So my lovelies, on that note, if you did enjoy the video, you know what to do. Hit that thumbs up and subscribe down below. And as I say, leave me your comments on what you think. Or if you want it a bit more private, you can DM me on Instagram or send me a message on my email. That's not a problem. Take care, stay safe as always, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!